Alright, ladies and gentlemen, now that we've got the crash course stuff out of the way, and we've already got, like, what, I don't know, half the vault? Tin can. Huh. Now that we've got, like, half the vault cleaned out and starting to look nice, I'm going to go ahead and run through and collect all this stuff. Might as well. Get all this loose stuff, this loose garbage, that we might actually use somewhere. You never know. I'll definitely use cups to decorate the kitchen. Maybe even tin cans. I don't know. We'll see. Fancy little chair. Not easy looking for stuff like this. In fact, I'm going to go into crawl. Move a little slower so it's a little easier to spot it. I get too twitchy when I move while walking. Sometimes. I'm even twitchy when I move while sneaking, but it's a little easier to spot stuff because I guess I move slower. It starts hurting my eyes after a while. I'm sure it doesn't do you guys any wonders. Start looting the corpses too. Mole rat meat may not be yummy to eat, but if you were in a survival situation and you were going to be feeding a colony, every little bit's going to matter, right? Some mole rat meat. I mean, unless you're going to stoop to eating human meat. Now, if you want to build a raider colony, hey, go for it. In fact, you can send that to me. You can do a video response. Show me your awesome raider colony. Also, that brings up another point. If you guys are doing this with me, I mean, if you're actually going to play this game like this, I mean, if you're actually doing this with me, I want to see what you build. Because I'm totally interested. This is fun stuff. And I want to share that fun, you know? So, yeah, if you built something like this, let me know. Maybe even send the save to me so I can wander around in it. I guess I can't pick those up. I can move them. That's interesting. Might as well loot these two. Any containers? Did I loot that? Nope. Get that done. There's all this fog. I'm going to have to go through and clean this out soon, too. I'll probably speed that up, at least for the trash. We'll go through and inventory what we're finding in the vault. I mean, since we're going to be surviving in the vault, there's no point in not using what's in the vault. Twitchy. Oh, yeah, this one. There's a magazine down there that I always have trouble getting on this game without using the console. See, this is what I'm talking about. I think that's actually supposed to be like on top of this, like right here, and it falls down when it gets loaded in. Unless there's a trick to getting it that I don't know. I've always had to use the console. And that means I'm going to add one more metal stepladder. I don't know what I just disabled. But it sure wasn't a metal stepladder. There we go. Add stepladder. Now, I already have gone through and recorded my information, like everything that we had already found before, previously anyway, in here. I've already gone through and recorded that information into a database on my phone. I actually need to make a little side video. I'll probably do that today, showing you just highlighting the things that I use to make this process, I don't know, a little easier. It certainly makes it a little easier when you're trying to like rebuild after you've collected a bunch of stuff and you're trying to find a place to put it, and you don't know what all you have. Like, oh, this would be a great place for a chair or a shelf, and you don't remember the numbers. You got to look them up real fast. You know, it makes it a little easier. It doesn't look like there's much down there. Got a mole rat. Tasty mole rat. Wonder what that actually tastes like. Mole and rat. It can't be good. Here's that Talon combat armor I was wearing. When I came in here, I was wearing combat armor, and in that chest, I shit you not, I found both pieces of the recon armor. That was in that video that we got that got lost, which I was fucking ecstatic about because, I mean, that I sneak. Everything I do in this game it revolves around sneaking. So I always usually wear the recon armor for most of it because of the sneak bonus. I spend more time in sneak, or crouching in sneak, or whatever, than I do anything else. Like, a lot of people play this game, they charge in. I don't. I sneak. I like the critical hit bonus from sneaking. Plus, it's a little more challenging to play it that way, I think. Not be seen. That's not easy. Tin can. Alright, so that looks like that takes care of this room here. So this is... Wow, I missed shit all over the place, didn't I? This is going to be the next room we're going to tackle. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to dump this stuff into what I just picked up, into my lots of crap chest. You don't have to do this, but I can show you a quick way of setting the name. The thing is, the names are not permanent. But if, like, when you log in and you're playing for a while, if you want to name some chests so you can remember them, if I were you, I would just use different things like a metal box and then a footlocker and then, a wall safe and then a regular safe. That would be the smarter thing to do, and just remember what's in what. But you can name things such as, well, like, I've got it targeted. If I say set name, Wesley's crap box. Okay? It'll change the name to Wesley's crap box. But as soon as you rezone, that name's going to disappear. They aren't permanent. That was probably a bad idea because I had stuff in there. Oh, cool. It's still there. But yeah, it's as soon as you I don't know if it works. Oh, God damn it. There we go. As soon as you rezone, I don't know if it works when you rezone, but definitely as soon as you turn the game off and when you load back in, that'll be named back. It'll change it back to a lockbox or footlocker. So it's not going to stay. But you can do that if you want. Just type in set name, Wesley's crap box. Set name, blah. Where the name of the new item, or the name of the item is going to change. The new name is going to be in the quotation marks. Fuck. Learn to speak. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through, and I'm going to delete the dead bodies and garbage. That's what I'm going to do. It's all garbage detail. I'm going to clean this room up because the room is full of garbage, and we already know how to do that. So I'm just going to speed through it. Cool? Cool. That includes fog removal. Okay, one thing I want to bring up real fast is these shards of glass. They obviously come from these broken windows. Not every window in this place is broken, I believe. Well, maybe they are. I don't know. But you're going to typically find them around... Well, not every window inside the entire vault is, for sure. But you're going to typically find them around these windows. And you can see, like right here, is that it's a little too far under the surface. And it might be hard to see, like I just opened my console and I can't see it. It might be hard to get it in view. But one thing, I can get it in view now, but one thing you can... Oh, well, that was fog. Yep, see, there we go. It makes it a pain in the ass. One thing you can do to deal with that is TFC, toggle free cam, I think is what that stands for. And then fly through the ground. See if you can spot it. Nope. So then what you'll want to do is just get really close and then try to get your eye on it. That might work. And if you can't... Oops, shit. There we go. And if you still can't... okay, see, I still couldn't get it. So if you still can't get it, then click so that you have nothing targeted, and then click again, and then scroll once, and then disable and see if that's the one you're after. it'll disappear. There we go. Poof. And there we have it. Getting close with TFC, with the free cam, really makes a difference when you're trying to get hard to click on stuff like that glass. So just something to note. You have that option available. All right, that's looking pretty good. Now we can start going through and inventorying the stuff that's here. If you were watching, I went through and I cleaned up all the dead bodies, the blood, the trash. Now it's on to just taking inventory. I think I got most of the fog. Fog is kind of the hardest bit to see, really. Some of it just rolls really carefully across the ceiling or the ground, just barely, and that's it. It's not the easiest thing to see. You may not get all of it. Don't worry about it. It adds to the atmosphere anyway. Okay, we did say that the wood planks are going to be legacy, but I think I only recorded the light planks. Let me check real fast. My legacy. No, I got both. I went ahead and recorded the 3 dark planks and the 3 light planks. So those are both in my legacy. If you haven't yet, that's probably a good plan. A good thing to do would be to get those recorded. Remember how to do it. You GBO on the light planks and GBO on the dark planks. And then I'm going to delete the rest of those planks that are laying around. Oh, GBO, just in case, disable. So there we have the base object for both the light and the dark planks. Light, dark. And I'll start removing those real fast. That won't take long, though. So I probably won't go too far. Like, for example, speeding it up. Because I think that's it right there. Well, there's one more. There might even be some in the next rooms over. But right now we're just going to worry about this room. Because we're inventorying this room first. Oh, we got 2 more cinder blocks. I can add those to my cinder blocks list now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write it down. Actually, I don't think I need to do that. What I'll do is I'll add it to my phone as I sit if I've already got it in there. If I don't, I'll write it down. So I can just double tap on that. Quantity from 9 to 11. Done. So that takes care of the cinder blocks. See if there's any more of those. It would be nice to have that information on hand. Okay. Let's talk about these chairs real quick. Something I wanted to mention about on the other chairs that I forgot to anyway, was we had those chairs, remember? And they were laying all over the place, and that was that one that was in the corner from the last episode, the crash course. Was the one that had the animation and, you could actually sit down, it was functional. The other ones you couldn't, and they were an entirely different base object ID. You may still want to write both of those down. And just write down, like, no animation, and then put the base object for just a standard chair, no animation, no function. And then put the base object, again, as one that's got animation from the side. You sit in it from the side. And then, because there may be another chair that'll have animation where you sit in it from the front. As if it's like a freestanding chair. It's out in the middle of nowhere, not up against a table. So, because you may find different uses for it. Maybe you want to have a chair that's butt up to the table so that no one can sit in it. That's up to you, That's something you can do. It's just something I was thinking about the other day. And, okay, so we got, what, 2 rusty PCs and a broken one. The broken one doesn't seem like something I would normally want, but I'm going to get it and record it anyway. GBO. Let's get both of these while we're here. Write them down. Broke. I'm going to say PC broke and PC rusty. Broke is 0002 B422 B422, and there's one of those, and 0004 for the rusty one, 2655. Because I may actually use that broken PC in somebody's, like a scavenger's shop or something, just as I don't know, just something to put there, make it look interesting. Also going to record a metal table. So let's write that. I already have that one in my list. So metal table goes from +1. All right. So that's taken care of as well. Whoops. There we go. So that takes care of those. Here's a new chair, and it looks like the executive vault chair that you would see in like an overseer's office. So I'm going to call it executive chair, but I'm not going to write down, well, I'll write down the ID for this one as well, just in case I want to have one that you can't sit in, you know, just for looks or whatever. But I probably won't use that one as my default ID. I'd rather have one that you can actually sit in. But I'll write down executive chair. Let's get the base object of it. I'm going to make sure I got it selected. Alright. Exec chair. 0004 2646. In parentheses, I'll put no anim. So I know it's no animation. And then I'll write down that I have one of those. And in the place, you can use, you know, you don't have to, you can only use this one because it has no animation. No, you can use one you can sit into. It's not going to matter. As long as the chair is the chair. Same goes for these chairs. You know, we got 2 blue dining chairs, 1 green dining chair. Yep. So we'll get the base objects of those. That's the blue dining chair, and that's the green dining chair. Write those down. Blue D chair. Green D chair. That way, I have an idea of what they are, because it's not like they have names. So, we'll make a name for them. Blue was first, so it's 0001. 5845 5845. I'm going to write NA for no animation. We got 2 of those. And 0001 584. I'm sorry, 54. Wow, that's easy to confuse, isn't it? 54. Also no animation. We only got 1 of those. That's the green chair. All right. So we can deal with those now. Oh, you bitch. So those are dealt with. Oh, we didn't delete this PC here yet, did we? Got to do that because we wrote down 2 rusty PCs. All right, so that deals with everything that's in that room currently, except for these massive supply crates, which I'm going to actually probably... Oh, we didn't delete this either. Good Lord. Get with it, man. All right. I'm going to use these, and I'm going to leave these in this room, actually, because this room seems like a really good place to store these. So... okay. So what I'll do is I'll write down the base object, so at least I have the base object of them. So we got yellow supply crate, because I know there's red and other colors in here too. So yellow supply, yellow sup crate, CR8. There we go, yellow sup crate. It's going to be 000-85908. 85908. And we got like 10 in this room, but just in case. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's more down the hallway, but we'll just worry about these 6. So 6. 4, 5, 6. And most of these I'll probably just leave straight in this room. But what you have to do is, most of the time for things like this, watch this. Set. Let's see if it works. POSY 2540. Okay, cannot be moved. You see that? Most of the time, objects that were generated by the map or generated by the game itself, you know, they're kind of already in there, hardwired, will be that way. Typically, unless it starts with FF as the reference key, chances are highly likely you can't move it. What you do in that situation, okay, is you click on this, and you would get the base object, because I'm not going to bother reading it off my page. Place at me 0008 5908 1. Wow, I gotta put a space in there. Okay, and then you hit enter. That's gonna place the actual crate the way it's supposed to be. As you can see, it's huge. And then I'm gonna disable before I untarget. So that gets rid of the crate I just copied, basically. And this one, I'm gonna set it. I can target it now, and you'll see it starts with FF. What I can do is set scale, like 0.5 was probably what that was. Yep. And as you can see, we have replaced the crate that was sitting there with a crate we can now move. Get POSY, set, well, actually, X is preferable. Get POSX, set POSX, oh, dumbass. 2640, we're going to do 2645 and see which way it goes. Good Lord. It went the wrong way than where I want it, so that needs to go. We need to go down with it. So 2600. So you can see that the old crate is gone because we disabled it. It's gone. So the original spawned in natural spawn crate has been removed, and as this other crate has been placed this other crate has been placed over it, is now taking its place. But how about that? And what I'm going to do with it, because I like the scale that it's at. I mean, big is cool too, but I think the smaller ones look a little better as in terms of supply crates that you can stack in this room. I don't see myself using this little hallway here or that hallway over there for much. Let's put some supply crates. We'll pretend like that's our supply crate area. So I'm going to grab the POS. Well, I'm going to set POS X to something like 2400. Move it big time so that I can move myself into position, a better position to see the whole field here. Now we'll set it to like 2100, which will move it quite extensively over. Now we'll get POSY, set POSY. See, 2650? Sound good? That went the wrong way, so we need to go higher with it. So it'll be probably 900. Close. Let's go ahead and go up to 3000. That's just about got it where I want it. I'm going to tuck it all the way into that corner, though. Now, again, you remember you can see how you walk through it. You'll have to disable it and re-enable it. Disable it and enable it to get it to actually be at its home location, its new home location. Also, another thing to note, you cannot move things too far away from where they've been spawned in. If I were to copy it from, place it right there, and then try to move it all the way the fuck over there, like into that room, it'll probably disappear before it gets halfway through here. It can only go so far away from where it spawned in before it's like totally duh. And what you can do to fix that is, of course, disable, enable. It'll move its new home location to where it's sitting. So if it starts disappearing on you when you go to move it, just disable and re-enable and then see what happens. If it shows up again, perfect. If it doesn't, well, then you should probably move it back to where you had spawned it in and then see what happens from there. But, alright, so I want to move this into the corner furthermore, a little further. So, plus Y. I also want to move it away from that fence a little bit more. So we had to go up, so 30-50. Whoa, too much. How about 30-30? A little more. 30-20. That looks good. I don't like its rotation, so I'm going to rotate it on the Z-axis, which will keep it flat as it is, and just rotate it. We'll do 50. And that's the right direction. Get it nice and mostly straight. That looks fairly good. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. You can sit there and fight it until it is perfect, but there's no real necessary need. This is just basically for looks. If you think about it, it would look better if it was haphazardly placed. Let's see, what was the X we set to? 2100, set POS X 20. We had to go down, didn't we? Yes. So 2000. Ooh, I want it a little more in the corner, so we'll put it... Actually, that seems to be pretty good. I might be able to find something else to do with this sliver. That looks like a good spot. I kind of feel like it could be bigger now that I look at it. Let's set POS Y again and go back to 3040. Whoops. There we go. 3050. Set scale 0.75. Whoa, that's too big. How about 0.60? Now, see, it kind of fills that area a little better. Let's try 70. Well, maybe 65. 70. It kind of fills that area a little nicer. Plus, it kind of hides, what's in this corner, which is kind of unique in its own right. Okay, so we've got how many boxes left? That takes care of one. Let's go ahead and disable, enable. There we go. Now we can't walk through it no more. See, and we can now walk through this area where we couldn't before because it was spawned in there. We still have 4 laying here, and I want those 4 over here as well. So, at least 3 of them. So, we've got 1. What I'm going to do to save myself a bunch of time is click here. GBO, of course. That way I don't have to look at my sheet, because I already know it's going to be a copy of this one. Place at me 000-85908. 859081. Enter. We're going to set the scale of the new one. We have to click it though, as you recall. Set scale. It was 70, wasn't it? 0.70 or 0.7 for that matter. All right, now we'll get POS Z. Set POS Z 71. Let's go up to 7200 and see what happens. Definitely got to go higher. 7250. Closer. 7290. A little too high. Bring it back to 80. Maybe we go 85. Nope. Maybe 83. Kind of looks like that might be it. I'm going to say 82. There we go. Now it looks like it's sitting on the other crate almost perfectly. And it'll be lined up because we placed it directly at the other one. So there you have it. Now I can disable, enable. And that's at its new home location. Let's see how it looks in the ceiling. Hell, I ain't worried about that because it's just for looks anyway. So that deals with 1. Now we'll get POS. Not get POS, but let's scroll back up to place it me. By just pressing up. Place it me another one. And then we'll set scale, of course, again to 0.70. And this time we're going to get POS, would be X. Set POS X to 2100, because I think that's where it was. It looks like it needs to come a little more. 2120. That looks pretty good. Yeah, that looks perfect. So 2120 it is. And that looks good. Disable, enable, whoops, enable. Alright, now, place it me again. With this one targeted, because I'm just going to move the other one directly above it. If you remember how we did the other one. Which we actually still have the Z coordinates just right here. 7282. So let's go ahead and set the scale of our new one to 0.70. Set position Z to 7282. And voila. Oh, of course, disable and re-enable. Disable, enable, and bam, we just put 4 really cool looking supply crates in to a location that looks like it would make sense. And you can even give it a spin. If you want to make it look a little more haphazardly placed, you could give it a bit of a spin. Like this one right here. We'll take the bottom one and rotate its Z by 50. And then we'll take the top one and rotate its Z by negative 50 a couple times. Maybe once. And see, they're not perfectly lined up no more. So it looks a little more realistic. Maybe this one will spin negative 50 a couple times. And there we have it. They're not absolutely perfect. So it doesn't look, it almost looks like it was realistically placed in its own right. So we placed, one of them's already been removed. So we still have 3 that need to go away. So 3 of these will disappear now. We still have these 2 big ones right, well, that big one back there and this one right here. And we'll probably put them over here. And we'll make them as big as this one is. Why not? So let's place at me. I'm going to scroll up to it because it's not been that long ago since I used it. Place at me. Now we'll disable, so we remove the one that was there. And we'll... Hell, that's pretty big. I'm going to leave it as its default. That's the default scale of it. When you see it spawn in like that, that's the default scale. That's a big son of a bitch. Let's get POS X, set POS X to 20, let's just do 2000. That was almost in the corner, wasn't it? Well, we could probably go lower than that. Let's do 1950. And see how far that has gone up. Yep. See, I can't walk through this area because that box is still there. The game still thinks that the box is sitting here, but we can see it is over here. Remember I was telling you yesterday, but last week about those 2 ghost images that have to line up. And disable, enable does that for you. Lines the 2 of them up. Now I can move through the area. You might have to do that a few times just so that you can officially walk through the area you're trying to get to. I want to line this up. This needs to be rotated. Rotate Z 50. We're heading in the right direction. That looks good. Now, definitely needs to move over on the Y-axis. Get POS Y, set POS Y. Maybe 20, let's do, I think it goes up, goes the other way, yeah, so we'll do 2100. Oh, a little less than that, 2090. Well, let's do 80. That looks pretty good. It's not in the fence no more, and that's what matters to me. And I could probably squeeze it back a little more, but I don't think I'm gonna. I don't think I'm gonna worry about it. I think that's a good spot for it. Though the scale, I guess I could move it back a little bit more. Even if it's going to stick through that wall, it doesn't matter because it's going to look nice from this side. I don't care what it's going to look like from behind, because you're probably not going to get back here to see it anyway. So, let's go ahead and... where were we? Yeah, we'll do it. Get position X, set position X. 1950, so we'll probably do like 1930. Maybe a little more. I'd like to try and get it to line up to that wall almost. That might be a good spot. Let's see it from the other side over here. I'll probably stick this other crate right here. So I feel like it could go back even more. So let's go to 1880 and see what it looks like from the front. Because if it lines up in the front, it'll look nice, you know? Because you're not going to see that other side once that crate is moved in. So let's do 70. That looks pretty good. That's about as flush as I'm ever going to get. I guess I could go one more. Let's do 10 more. Bring it down to 60. Why not? Now it's as flush as it's ever going to get. Might as well just leave it at that. Not fuck with it anymore. Don't fuck with perfection. It looks like it's butt up to the wall, so it still doesn't look too bad. Now what I can do is get... well, of course, disable, re-enable. Now I'll do the place at me again, which... I may have to scroll up quite a bit for because of the rotation. There it is. Place at me. Now I can get position. What we're going to do actually is rotate. Z-axis 500. Oops, that was 5,000. Well, that was actually pretty close. That was almost perfect. It's rare that that works correctly. Usually it gives you a bunch of shit. Definitely need to get POS Y. No. X. get POS X, set POS X to something new. If it's an 1860, and it needs to go up to move back to the forward, basically to the left from where we're looking at it. It needs to be set to 1880. Oop, too much. Just a little too much, though. How about 75? How about 70? There, now it's outside of that fence. Now we can move it forward. Let's see. Get position Y. Set position Y. 2080. I think I need to go up to make it, come towards me. 2200. That's quite extensive. It needs to go more, though. So, 2300. That's probably almost perfect. Still feels like it needs to move over a little bit, doesn't it? It looks too... I mean, even though it's kind of chunked into the wall there, you're not really going to notice that in the end. Let's set position X to 1860. Kind of move it off that fence a little bit. I like the way it looks a little better. Yeah, I like the way it looks a lot better. In fact, if I really want to get technical with it, that's going to look even better because you definitely won't even notice that now. Because you're just going to run right by. Even if you look, it just doesn't look that bad now. Unless you happen to know that this is here. But I mean, come on. It's for looks. And it looks good. I think it looks good, so fuck it. And it doesn't look too bad from this angle either. So hell yeah, there we go. Now I can get rid of this one. Oh, yeah. Always try to get in the habit of doing this. The game will do it for you eventually. If you relog, when you close the game, you come back in, everything will be moved to its native state. But this way, if you get in the habit of doing it this way, you don't have invisible boxes and you're not going, why the fuck can't I walk through here? So, yeah. Alright, so what we got now is a neat little room, and we've dealt with the 6. So, since they're placed, I'm going to cross them out, because we've dealt with all 6 of our supply crates. So, technically, we have 0. So, for the moment, we have 0. So, there we go. I think that's pretty good. And that's this room. Next, we'll move on to this room. And as always, be sure to save. Because you don't want to lose all that work you just did if you accidentally fuck something up and have to reload. Oh, son of a bitch, I can't get that back. It's gone now. What am I going to do? Well, I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to load your motherfucking game. And there you have it. I don't have to go through and do all that work again because I saved it. Voila! I'll see you guys next week.